Lately, I've been getting sick and tired of playing Counter-Strike. It always ends up being the same trash with the same issues. This one has cheaters and no content. This one is dead. This one has empty servers, and this one has no normal servers left. So I don't want to put up with it anymore. Sadly, there aren't any other games out there to help me relieve this stress. But make no mistake, I am not desperate enough to lower my standards. Don't get me wrong though, the shovelware that plagues the app stores is perfectly fine for children suffering from dissociative amnesia. Anyway, I went to search for an alternative beyond, and it didn't take long to find one. All I had to do was see what China has been up to. This is CrossFire. Now, to be perfectly clear, the developer is Korean, but it has been hijacked by their close neighbor. Now, it's no longer just their game, it's our game. And that is technically true considering there are servers across the entire globe with millions of players, though none are as popular as China. Calling itself the biggest FPS in the world is not an understatement. The fact that you don't know about it means that we have failed as a society, further proof of the inherent ideological fallacy in our system. This game is not hard to understand. It draws parallels from other franchises, or just one, but it shouldn't entirely be dismissed because of it. Some might say it's a shameless knockoff. I call it a respectful homage. You may not understand, but I do, for reasons your feeble mind cannot comprehend. For being the most popular FPS of all time, the graphics don't look that impressive. In fact, they never really changed much since it released in 2007, and I am certain of that because this isn't the first time I'm playing. A friend of mine showed it to me 10 years ago, and both the gameplay and shop are the same as I remember them. It honestly doesn't matter how it looks. The devs don't have to worry about keeping up. The game is already successful. All these other companies having to upgrade their engines, suffer through the transition, and estrange poor little Ivan from Chikhalin. They kneel to CrossFire, who remain stalwarts because you simply can't fix what isn't broken. I understand if your first reaction might be, what is this? Why is this? Who came up with this? Tell you what, you just aren't in the right mindset, as this is all purely natural. Everything is born from desire and conceived through passion. To comprehend is not hard. You must simply achieve nirvana and release from dukkha, so you may begin the path of liberation. In time, it will all make sense, and nothing in this world will ever feel out of place. I promise. The feeling of playing CrossFire has never really changed. It's smooth, responsive, and very stiff at the same time. One rule of thumb is to never jump while in combat, because you are locked into that direction. There is no freedom of movement when airborne, only commitment. Shooting is pretty good, and getting a frag is made to be probably the most satisfying thing ever. Directly injecting dopamine shots into your brain. I was wondering how that works, and the magic comes from the fact that bullet spread and accuracy is 100% randomized garbage. So when your shots hit and your enemy does a backflip, it feels like hitting the jackpot on a slot machine. The weapons you shoot with can be many things, but there is no buy menu or in-game economy to speak of. Simply customize your loadout and play with whatever you feel like. Unfortunately, you don't have many options. That is, unless you put in the work and abide by the rules, your loadout can look like this. Most of the things you would want must be obtained through other methods. You want basic armor and utility? Earn it. You want gooning material? Buy it. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. This also remains true if you want to keep what you got, since a lot of things are temporary and expire. I think this makes CrossFire a perfect allegory for capitalism. You constantly have to invest your hard-earned money to keep your status symbols, as it fuels a superiority complex. Digital vanity perpetuated by a primordial desire to consume more. There's no escaping this cycle of abuse. Your shekels will be absorbed by Tencent. Don't think you're immune. As with most free-to-play games, CrossFire will make sure to tease you and hand out some free stuff. Just like my friend, that one time he let me hit his Benjamin. Since then, I can't live without my shawarma-flavored swipe, and I may suffer from cardiovascular diseases. You might know where this is going. Yes, the game is pay to win, in the form of perks that any item in this game can have. Weapons may also come with various attachments. Some items you can just outright buy, such as these glasses for less flashbang effect. How about a new agent? Most likely female because there's such an overwhelming amount of them compared to the male ones. Somehow I feel like this perfectly correlates to the abhorrent birth rates in South Korea. Other items may require pulling the lever or crafting. There are even specific upgrading systems because a weapon can't have too many perks. Some perks are extra abilities that apply to certain game modes. Others are typical stuff like bigger magazine, faster reload, and faster account XP gain. I can't even begin to explain the multitude of shops and currencies that exist, and so much more is locked behind Asian servers. We truly have no idea in what world they live in. I haven't said much about what is there to even play here, and honestly, it's nothing we haven't seen before. You either do a fast queue or join a room, create lobbies, and wait for people to come. There are tons of modes, maps, and ways to customize, but most of it is bloat nobody cares about, as it goes with Asian games, so you might as well ignore 70% of the content unless you want to sit there in an empty lobby. Mutant modes are the most popular, probably because they can have the most players, plus bullet sponges, ergo more XP. There is Infection, Escape, and Building. Wow, I wonder which Silk Road they exported those ideas from. Everything else is bomb defuse or deathmatch with the occasional twist. Arcade games are rarely played. I'm not autistic enough to parkour with this movement, and the rest are uninspired to say the least. If you're a serious gamer, Ranked exists, in traditional search and destroy or in zombie mode if that's what you really need. I'm not getting involved in this because it's a cancer I am all too familiar with. If you'd like to know the situation with cheating, I've met a few here and there, so not that different from any other game. Now, I have to apologize. I did deceive you on the servers, as some are shut down or merged with others, but I do have a feeling Smilegate only cares about China. The rest of us are mere plebeians. For me, in European servers, there are plenty of lobbies with people in them. Here's a question. When you have a free-to-play PC multiplayer game that runs on anything, what kind of people play it? If you answered Eastern European, you'd be close. It's Turkish. They have taken over the European servers. And to give you an idea of what it's like, imagine you're in Istanbul at one of those ice cream stands. Your cone will remain empty until the merchant decides he's had his fun. On the other hand, I really wanted to see the Chinese server. Sadly, I couldn't get access, but if I did, my instinct would be to stand in front of a tank and probably face an immediate ban. After all this, if you're still unconvinced about CrossFire, let me remind you, there's a tab called esports, and it's real. There's a thriving esports scene with high stakes and big prizes that exists on a global scale, by the way. Custom items are of course prohibited, and that's a bummer. I think they should be allowed, as not having a weapon with extra bullets, detachable scope, and grenade attachment takes away from the true experience, don't you think? Additionally, there's a roadmap for updates, mobile port, TV show, film adaptation, and a sequel for console called CrossFire X. It wasn't made by Smilegate and did everything wrong, so we pretend it never existed. Fortunately, there is a new entry into the franchise codenamed Crossfire Zero, still in development, this time by the right people. In the meantime, the original is not going anywhere. Crossfire is a one-of-a-kind spyware that can take all of my data as long as I get to keep my loadout. There is a beauty to this mess only a true netizen can appreciate. Is it constantly trying to coerce you into paying? Not really. It just requires some patronage to maintain its immortality. Everything is in the name of good fortune and a healthy life. The government only has our best interests in mind. Any accusations posted about me being a paid shill are a conspiracy to defame my character and disparage my benevolent actions. Remember, those safety nets at the iPhone factory are there to help the workers relax while on break. I was not sponsored to say or do any of this. I am free and can conduct my own beliefs as I see fit. Enough schizophrenic ramblings for now. I think I'm done preaching the gospel. I'll be back with more. In the meantime, I think a large sum of currency I am not obligated to disclose has hit my bank account, so I gotta go do my laundry, as they say, and make some purchases. My dish soap keeps running out these days, I don't know why.